Hey guys, I'm Brad Smith with HylthLink. Today I'm joined with Jason Linse, fitness, health, and basically any type of business consultant. How are you today, Jason?
I'm awesome, man. Living the dream.
Thank you so much for joining me today. If you could tell the audience real quick what you offer. I know fitness consultant, you kind of go in there and you help them. Tell us a little bit about what it is that you do.
Well, I've tried to shift away from consultant to the word coach. I mean, like when people ask me at a cocktail party, what do I do? I used to say I'm a fitness business consultant, and they would automatically think I'm a personal trainer.
Right.
And and I'm not. I mean, I used to be, but I have a degree in health and fitness. But for the last 7 years, I've been traveling to fitness centers for a couple of days, kind of rocking their world, getting them thinking different ways to sell memberships, personal training a lot, and more referrals. So essentially, just helping them increase revenue.
Okay, so the type of people that you work with is it like a gym owner that wants to increase his revenue?
Correct. Yes, Brad. And independently owned and operated fitness centers. That could be a franchise. I have a lot of Anytime Fitness clients, Snap Fitness clients.
Yeah.
I don't work with the low dues clubs. Not that I wouldn't. They just typically don't contact me because I don't know.
Yeah.
I
They
don't
think
go
they
after.
know it all.
Well, there you go. I don't focus on them. I've even been known to say negative things about them, but so not really chain gyms, but like the independently owned gym, and they could be 90,000 square feet. I got a client in Wisconsin that's got 90,000 square feet, and then I went up to Anchorage, Alaska for 900 square feet once.
Big
So
difference. Yeah.
yeah.
Do they
Well,
all have common issues or common problems that they need help with, no matter if it's a big or small facility?
yeah, a good question. I teach simple stuff. But it's simple stuff that gym owners, and oftentimes they know they should be doing it and they don't. So I just show them how to do it in a way that isn't going to be time consuming and arduous and boring. And because a lot of the stuff is pretty boring. I mean, business. So to answer your question, yes, they don't often do the simple stuff on a regular basis that it takes. Things like answering the phone properly, giving tours properly, getting people in front of the coach properly, asking for referrals properly. And I blog and video about this stuff all the time. And I am happy that people can garner knowledge and run with it from that. But I do it because I know that a lot of people are going to go, hey, I like that. Tell me more. And then that leads to maybe me coming on site and rocking their stuff for 2 days.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that people think they might know it all, but when they get that business running, they start seeing the numbers come in. It's just not what they thought. Is that usually what happens?
Correct. And I always say everybody needs a coach, myself included, you included, everybody included. I'm not saying life coach necessarily, but business, depending on what you're doing, business coach. And so I tell these people through blogs and videos and even on the phone, I'm like, look, if you don't hire me, that's fine, but get somebody that you can talk to on a regular basis. So just to kind of finish what I do, I don't just leave them hanging after a couple of days. I show them the ropes in a day and a half to 2 days, depending on the size of their gym. And that includes fun team building stuff. And my whole consulting is based on a 4-quadrant theory of personality. Most people out there are familiar with DISC or Myers-Briggs and something like that. I have my own that I bought from the inventors of it, and to differentiate myself from other consultants. So I use that as a foundation of my training and my consulting and my coaching. And so people love it. It's fun. They remember it better. And then when I leave, I don't just say, all right, you're done. If they want to be done with me, that's fine. But I try to talk to them 3 times a month for a period of time. So phone coaching is part of, it can be completely separate of the on-site coaching if they want it, but most people have me come on site first, which is a smart thing to do, and then talk to me on a regular basis to make sure the numbers are going where they want, because obviously, ultimately this business is a numbers game like no other. So
Yeah. Okay, so what's the most common mistake gym owners are making right now that you see that you can't believe that they're making this mistake? They're losing out on a ton of money. And what's one common mistake?
Well, for one of okay, I'm going to give you 2. They're related though. Having personal trainers as independent contractors is a huge mistake. It's the old school way of doing it. Related to that is if you get them as employees, then the second mistake becomes less of a mistake. You have to get the majority of your new members, and I'm talking about a traditional mainstream gym here where they rent treadmills for $40 a month. And I say that phrase, which sounds kind of negative, but it is what it is. A lot of times that's what they end up doing, which is why they have a problem with attrition and consistent revenue. So the traditional gym that takes memberships for like $40 a month, right?
Yep.
They don't get enough of those new members in front of a coach who's an employee to give that coach who's an employee an opportunity to sell personal training, right?
Right.
If you want to sell training, you got to get people in front of a coach. So right there, I've been saying that for years, and I thankfully, some gyms, it's not like all gyms are bad at it, but many gyms have figured this out, but a lot of them are still out there going, Jason, we can't sell training. Well, how many of your new members do you get in front of a coach? Oh, I don't know. Number one, they don't track it, right? So now more mistakes. And then if they do track it, I can find out sometimes it's 20 or 30%, and the number needs to be 70%. So again, I'm not trying to pitch my services, because if you can figure it out on your own how to get 70%, it's not super difficult to do. What you make important becomes important, right? But that's one of the big things that I bring when I do my consulting, whether it's on the phone or in person, is I teach you how to get 7 out of 10 new members in front of a coach, and then teach that coach how to get half of them to buy some sort of personal training.
I think I already know the answer for this, but what happens if a trainer has no new customers coming in front of them? They're sitting at the gym and the owner is not sending them those 7 out of 10.
Well, good question. So you're painting a picture of a gym owner who's like, well, I want to get 7 out of 10, but we're not doing it. And now I've got an employee that I'm paying X amount of dollars per hour who's not doing anything. Yeah, that's a problem. So the answer is there. You learn how to get 7 out of 10, learn how to fill up their schedule. And, whenever I get I'm glad you brought that up, because whenever I get a client who is like, well, Jason, they're independent contractors, so they eat what they kill. And I don't have to pay them if they don't get paid. But you and I both know that if they don't do a good job of killing and eating, then they're leaving. They're going to go somewhere else. So now you got a cycle of new trainers. And trainers don't get in this business to be salespeople. So you have to, as the owner, understand that and be a leader. You don't have to be the best salesperson in the world yourself. You just have to understand that they need some coaching and sales training in order to be successful. So when I get these clients I say, you're going to switch to employees. You're going to have them block off X amount of hours to meet with new members. You're going to train your sales staff how to get 7 out of 10 in front of them. And you're going to be nervous for maybe a couple of weeks while this process starts.
Right.
But after that, I mean, I don't want to say this and be negative, but if you can't figure it out after that with help from somebody like me, then you're not going to get it. It's not that hard.
Yeah. And the reason I ask is I see, the trainers, they have no new customers coming in front of them. So they move on to the next place or the next best thing, because they're not able to make extra money or not able to get those training clients. So now your gym owner is stuck with an inexperienced trainer because nobody else wants to work for him. Is that?
Well, you're 100% right, Brad. There's been this shift in the last few years in the industry. Maybe shift's the wrong term, but you've seen, I'm guessing, as most people listening out there, especially if they're gym owners, the training gyms popping up. When I mentioned the 900 square foot gym in Anchorage, that guy there's no rent a treadmill. That's $150 a month or not, and you're going to get a coach every time. So where I'm going with this is, if I talk, and I'm out there and I talk to people that want to be trainers, whether they're 25 or they're 55 with a career change, and I say, number one, if you want to be a trainer, my recommendation is look into the training gyms. They're harder to find because they're not as rampant. Mainstream gyms are more common, but find a training gym and go there, and they might be able to hire you on just as a coach. Second thing I talk about is, do you understand the sales process? Because you go to mainstream gym, you're going to have to be a salesperson unless you're in a system that has somebody sell for you. So there's all kinds of different scenarios you see out there. But if you think you're going to show up at a gym and there's 1,000 members and you get no support from ownership, so I'd say make sure if you go to a mainstream gym that you say to ownership, how do you get me in front of potential clients? So there's a lot of things that go into it. So I mean, the industry can work really, really nice if it's done a certain way. And I'm not suggesting that my way is like the end all be all way. I'm open to new ideas, and that's just where I've come to where I'm at. Is I don't just invent shit. I learn from other people, right? And so, but I've seen so many different like just loosey goosey situations. And I guess let me finish on this note. If you want to sell training by waiting for people to come say I want training, good luck. That's not going to get it done. And it doesn't mean they don't want it. They just don't understand it, and they need to get in front of a coach first and have it explained to them. So,
I you told me before the interview that it's not just fitness or gyms that you work with. You can help, any type of business, but I think it's more of the process that you're going in and setting up for them. If they have a really good process in place, you can leave, do the coaching calls 3 times a month.
Yeah.
But if that process it's never going to be perfected. Yeah. But if you get it pretty strong, then consistently they're going to get those 7 out of 10 members or 7 out of 10 people seeing the sales process then. Is that kind of?
No, you're 100% right. I'll give you an example. I was just, I've been a lot lately, but I was out in Seattle, Washington for 2 days for a gym that's been open for 10 years. They used to have 2,500 square feet. They expanded to 4,000 square feet, and that 1,500 square feet is all functional training area, which is awesome. Okay. Cool. And I said, guys, I'm going to go out there I'm going to spend a day and a half with you. I'm going to spend about a total of 12 hours of me talking. As you haven't figured out, I can talk. I have no problem saying stuff. I said, but when I leave, you're going to learn a lot. But ultimately, what the focus is 7 out of 10 people in front of 7 out of 10 new members in front of a coach, and getting that coach to convert 50%, which is, by the way, the biggest part of this equation, right? Is, okay, well, Jason, how am I going to get a coach to sell 50%? I said, well, number one, are they willing to try? We're going to only let coaches that are willing to try, that want to be good at sales, that want to pitch personal training, for lack of a better term, because ultimately that's what they're doing. Here's what we have. We believe in our product. We can change your life. We change lives here. This is what we do. Here's our opportunities. And related to that, and if we want to segue into this, they can't just sell one-on-one, Brad. That's not going to get it done. I mean, I've seen people sell one-on-one to 50%. Don't get me wrong. Rockstar salespeople can. Some salespeople can sell anything. But if you really want to bring up that percentage of members buying training, you got to offer more than one-on-one at $500 a month or whatever, right? Or $60 a session. You got to make it more affordable, which is why it's not a trend. It's going to stay. Small group personal training. It came around a few years ago, right? And it's becoming more and more popular because it freaking works. Share the cost with other people. So again, to your question, yes, I hammer 2 things. I teach a lot of things when I'm out there, but I ultimately get these guys doing it. So the Seattle gym, sure enough, I leave. They gather all their thoughts, and now we're talking on the phone, and they're getting now, it's 5 out of 10. Now they're 6 out of 10. I got one gym out in Pueblo. 88% of new members get in front of a coach. Now
that's cool.
The PT training sales guy started out about 20% closing. He's up to 38 now. He's not at 50. But anybody out there listening, any gym owner, if you can get 7 out of 10 in front of a coach and get 35% to convert,
you're happy. Yeah.
Do the numbers, and so it's pretty exciting if they follow systems. So yes, to your point, it ain't rocket science.
Jason Linse, business coach. You help businesses, with their process, bring in more sales revenue for their business. Can you give me one success story that really sticks out to you of a customer you helped?
Well, here's a good one, and it's pretty recent too, but that's recent memory. I'm in a lot of gyms, so I have to go back to my notes, and I didn't prep for this question, otherwise I could come up with a few more. Okay.
Hey, I like to catch you off guard.
No, it's fine. So Jim is with my coaching is getting 7 or more out of 10 people in front of a coach. Personal training sales gal is not converting a lot, and she's not really receptive to talking to me. Now, a couple of things on that. She's an employee of the client, and I do talk to employees of the client if they want me to and allow me to. And all I can do is report back to the client that, hey, she's really she's missing calls. I don't know what to do with this. So he says, I tell you what, I'm going to get rid of her. I'm going to have her not sell. I'm going to get this other guy, but he's never sold training before.
Cool.
But he says to me, well, Jason, I watched your videos, because I got videos on all kinds of stuff, right? And he goes, but I watched some other videos by another consultant, and I watched some other videos by another consultant. I said, okay. I said, I tell you what, pick one. Pick one of those 3, and if it's not me, then we can't talk unless I decide to watch the other 2 guys or one of the other 2 and learn their system. And he goes, right. I got it. I'll find one. So I got him to follow just one system, which is mine, which is great, right? Because and he went from he couldn't close a window to up to 30%. I think he's at probably 60% now. So I mean, that's just one, dude. And I mean, I know. I mean, talk is cheap. I could have anybody that's out there want to talk to this client to prove this. But he said to me, he said, well, Jason, the biggest thing that you taught me, and I've got the videos cover everything, step by step, what you do in that hour with the client, because that's important, right? And it includes a really cool sales tool, because you got to have a sales tool. I don't care, I don't care what it is. You got to have something. But the one I have is pretty awesome. And he said, but you taught me to shut up, which is something by the way, I talk a lot, as you can tell. But when I'm in when I learn sales, membership sales and PT sales, you go through your process, you present your option, small group or one-on-one or whatever. And the question that I like people, and everybody listen, this is great, to ask, especially if you offer one-on-one and small group, is, so Brad, what would you prefer to do? Would you like to work one-on-one with a coach or share the cost with other people? And shut up. And he would wait for them to answer, and then they'd say, well, maybe share the cost. How does that work? Well, we have this small group option. We have these two options. Which one do you want? Instead, salespeople tend to just kind of go, so, while the person's thinking about it. So anyway, that's one example I'm proud of. They took a guy that never sold PT before. And by the way, anybody out there wondering, they're like, was he a trainer? No, you don't have to be a trainer to sell PT. I mean, don't get me wrong. I should take time out there. I like it. I want trainers to be the people that sell PT. But
yeah, they understand it.
But yes, but in a pinch, this guy, I mean, he was into fitness, and more importantly, they thought he was a trainer anyway. Not that there was anything disingenuous about that, but he puts them through a workout, my specific 1 hour, put them through a workout and whatever. So he acted like the trainer for that hour. So I always like that one.
That's awesome. Yeah. And just watching him grow like that, he started getting the process down, started learning to listen. And I think giving them the choice between private or group, and no other option. It's not saying, do you want to sign up or not?
Right.
Now they have yes or no. Now you're not giving them the not.
Not to interrupt you, but I don't teach high pressure sales, but I teach direct assertive sales, because there's no other. What else can you do? Is this something you might maybe be interested in someday for PT? Well, that's not going to sell anything, we change lives. This is what we do. Which one do you want? Make them say, what's the word? Like, I've had people kind of occasionally, when I used to write for a lot of publications, the more public you are, the more critical people are. That's fine. I can take it. But he's like, it seems to me your system is all about shoving PT down people's throats. I'm like, no, it's putting people in a position to say yes or no to coaching. That's it.
Yep.
If you say no, we're not gonna go, whatever, you suck. We just go, okay, no problem. Maybe another time.
Yep. See you next time. Yeah.
Right.
But
I will say this. One more thing. I will say this. I understand this. I do come across, and I don't even deny this. If you own a mainstream gym and you get people in front of a trainer, and that person says no to training or coaching, whatever you want to, I prefer to call it coaching, then are they on their own after that? Well, they kind of are. They've told you at that point that they want to go on their own. That doesn't mean you can't have online resources. Doesn't mean you can't have some other stuff that you do through email blasts, or maybe you have free classes, which I hate, but whatever. Some gyms have. But my point is, if you really want to sell coaching, you've got to say, hey, listen, you can rent that treadmill and you can pay that $40 and we'll take it and we'll support you best we can. But if you really want your life to be changed, you need to pay for some coaching. So anyway.
What about follow-up? Because, some research we've done recently is people interested in a gym, 2%, who knows the numbers, sign up the first week, but it goes all the way up to 25% are more likely to sign up 4 or 5 months later if they're continued to be followed up with correctly. Is that something you see as having a gym owner or the trainer or the salesperson follow up with these people after they say no?
Now, are we talking about saying no to the membership, right?
Let's say that they say no to the trainer for personal training or group training. Okay. They say no. And then usually what I've seen is the trainer or the sales manager, they don't talk to them again. They might see them in the gym, but what about those people that are, 4 or 5 months later, they still have that relationship with that trainer?
Yeah. It's a good question. And this is where some coaching, and again, not necessarily from me, but from somebody, is really, really critical, because we all, as human nature, it's easy to say, okay, I tried, I'm going to move on to somebody who might be a viable prospect now, where the reality is, I don't know the percentage, and it sounds like you guys know more than I about this as far as the numbers, but I can say this, in all the years I've been in the industry, follow-up is important. It doesn't take that much time. And here's what it takes from a leadership standpoint, gym owners out there, is set a amount per day of follow-up and inspect it. I always say PTI, plan, train, inspect. Our plan is to do X amount of follow-ups per day with people who've said no. I'm going to train you how to do that. Here's what you say. It's not rocket science. It's more about thinking than doing. I'm sorry. It's more about doing than thinking. Pick up the phone or email, and then the inspection. Make sure it's getting done. So the answer is yes. And what I always taught my clients back when I was really focused on membership sales years ago was, when a prospect says no to you, if you give a tour of a $40 membership gym, and they say, I'm going to think about it, or I'm going to talk to my spouse, or I'm shopping other gyms, you can teach a salesperson to be high pressure, assertive, and overcome those objections all day long. But what happens there, Brad, is now you get employees who don't feel comfortable doing that, and they bail, and especially at the salaries that most gym owners pay these people. And if they're really good at that, they're going to go sell other things and make more money. Yeah, so, and I don't want that kind of person in my gym anyway. I want to, hey, we want you to get started today, Brad. What can we do to get you started today? But if you say, I'm going to think about it, okay, that's fine. Is there anything I can do to get? And so then what I would tell my clients and when I had employees is you need to reach out to Brad 5 times within 10 days, which might sound like a lot, but it's really not when you think about the fact that on that 3rd try, you might say yes or no to me. Hopefully yes, but you might just say, I'm not interested now. I joined the other gym and now I'm done. But if I don't hear back from you, because I get voicemail, or which I prefer call still to this day, then I'm going to go 5 times in 10 days. And then I'm not done then. I'm going to go 30 days after that. But you're always going to be on my prospect list until you unsubscribe from the emails or say, stop calling me or whatever. So yes, follow up. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because there are people out there, and I use that 4-quadrant theory of personality I mentioned, and there's a percentage of people that aren't going to make that decision right there for many reasons, but prefer to be nudged and followed up with. So yeah.
You know what helped me the most, and anyone watching, in the past, somebody says no, but you still remember their name and the details about them. So every time they come into the gym to work out on their own, you go say hello, their name, know about their husband or wife and their kids, and that's just say hi and walk away. And a couple months later, they say, hey, you know what? I changed my mind. And they go directly to you because you still have that relationship with them.
Oh yeah, no, that's brilliant. The best salespeople out there, and and everybody's a salesperson, right? We've all heard that, but it is true. But the best people out there, especially in the gym environment, since we're talking about that, is they have to be like that. That guy said no to me. There's 2 ways I can take it. Screw him, which is not the smart way or the best way. The other way is, what? That's fine. That means that they weren't right. They weren't right at this time, but they're still a family member. They're still a member of this gym. Hey, Brad, how's it going? Now, again, we might differ on how soon I ask for that sale again. My skill set might not be 2 months. It might be about three conversations, and then I might say, but let me get this out there before I forget. Is back to PT, if I can help people on this interview, is if somebody says no to personal training with small group and one-on-one as the options, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you have small group, get them into a small group, because you just put them through a 1 hour. Part of it was a workout, hopefully, if you follow a system like mine. But that hopefully is enough for them to see what you're doing. You're swinging kettlebells and you're doing fun stuff like that. But if that's not enough for them because they're just like, I don't really know, I don't know if it's affordable or whatever is going through their head, schedule them get them in a small group session at no cost. That's great. Every gym should do that when people say no. But just so I'm clear, I'm going to ask you if you're interested, and I'm hoping you say yes, absolutely. I think this is great. Small group sounds like perfect for me, $150 a month or whatever. I'm on board. But if you say no, and I say, why not? You're like, I just don't know. I think I can do it on my own or whatever. I'm going to say, well, Brad, let's do this. Let's get you into a small group session, even 2, and let you try it. So yeah, don't be afraid to do that, folks.
At least let them try it out for sure. Jason Linse, I am a gym owner or a business owner in the health and fitness world, or even farther than that. I want to increase my revenue. You seem like a good person to reach out. Maybe have a couple questions for you. What's the best way for me to reach out to you?
Well, there's 2 options there's multiple options, but jason@jasonlinse.com is my email, and my last name is, hopefully it's on here, but it's Linse. There's no Y on there. It's jason@jasonlinse.com. But my phone number, I only have one number. I need one number, and that's all I need. 612-310-1319. You can text, you can call, whatever. But you can find me on Facebook. It's easy to find me. There's no other Jason Lindsay's, or not many out there. So if you search Facebook for that, you get my public figure page. I'm not much of a tweeter. I just leave that to the president. And then, but I got
awesome.
But I have an Instagram page that I hardly use. But again, now on that note, I admit, I mean, when I come on site, I do have social media stuff I can help you with. But in a gym, basically, you need to have a Facebook page. I'm not saying an Instagram would be nice too, and you should have that. But you don't need to be worrying about tweeting out there as a gym. I just don't think it's been effective. I think that's for famous people and stuff. But your Facebook page should be full of stuff, and you should have that going. So if you don't have that going in 2017, then you got some issues. But
yeah, one major problem we see is they have the Facebook page, but the website goes to a different website or the wrong website.
Oh yeah, and you guys can help with that. Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. I mean, it's and by the way, speaking of that, I mean, we didn't talk about this, but one of the things when I deal with like an Anytime or Snap, unfortunately, they're at the mercy of the franchisor website and the capabilities. They don't have a lot of flexibility. But independent gym owner, guy or gal, whether it's training gym or mainstream gym, they can do what they want. I mean, they're web developers, do their own web. So you got to have a call to action on your website. I mean, like a free ebook, to get contact information. It's really easy to do this, and I'm amazed. So when we talk about mistakes, this would be on the list, but it wouldn't be at the top. But from a lead generation standpoint, gym owners, your website should have hey, get a free ebook on the 10 best weight loss tips or something. You can buy these if you don't want to write them, and from somebody, or a video that you give or whatever, right? And so people put their name. You see my website, jasonlinse.com. You get a free video just by putting a name or email in there. And all I do is then send you some information after that. So anyway, yes, but you guys can definitely help with that, right?
Yeah, perfect. And then you try to close them 3 times in 7 days.
5 times in 10 days.
Oh, sorry.
But that's
close.
Fine. Some amount of number and some amount of days. If whatever you guys decide out there, if you stick to it and
whatever.
Make it forward, yeah.
Just keep following up and helping people, right?
Right. Yeah, man. It's about changing lives.
Yep. All right, guys, if you want to increase your revenue for your health or fitness business, contact Jason Lindsay. We'll post his links under the video. And so thank you so much for joining me today, Jason. It was great getting to know you and how you can help other businesses. And I think they learned some great tips on how they can just start helping themselves right now.
I hope so. Thanks, Brad. Appreciate it.
Hey guys, I'm Brad Smith with HylthLink. Today I'm joined with Jason Lindsay, fitness, health, and basically any type of business consultant. How are you today, Jason?
I'm awesome, man. Living the dream.
Thank you so much for joining me today. If you could tell the audience real quick what you offer. I know fitness consultant, you kind of go in there and you help them. Tell us a little bit about what it is that you do.
Well, I've tried to shift away from consultant to the word coach. I mean, like when people ask me at a cocktail party, what do I do? I used to say I'm a fitness business consultant, and they would automatically think I'm a personal trainer. And and I'm not. I mean, I used to be, but I have a degree in health and fitness. But for the last 7 years, I've been traveling to fitness centers for a couple of days, rocking their world, getting them thinking different ways to sell memberships, personal training a lot, and more referrals. So essentially just helping them increase revenue.